Bow, 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 bow. All right. What is going on? Facebook Live. Red Cup Thursdays. Freddie Buys here, your favorite lender. Hanging out with you today. We're kind of wing it a little bit. Reason being is um, the guy that was going to hang out with me is a real busy businessman, and something's changed with a client that literally was going to fly out today. And I still wanted to come on here and hang out with you guys. So the idea of the show is changing a little bit for today, but it's going to be more about us hanging out, talking. When you guys come on, do me a solid, and write a quick comment and say what's up. I'm going to be answering some live questions from you today, and I'm going to be covering some topics that we're getting pretty often. So, how I'm by myself, do me a quick favor and just show some love. Send a quick message and saying, "Hey, Freddie, support you," or where you're watching the video from, the Facebook Live from, just because I want to make sure that I'm hanging out with you guys today. So, in the last 2 days, we've actually had a lot of things happen to the market. It's been a little surprising, and as a change within the rate scene, a change within the qualifications scene, and we're going to start the conversation today with just talking a little bit about where the rates are at, well, where the rates were and where the rates are at today, in some general, from a general perspective. So the talk for the last year and a half, I think we can actually put up the screen. Let me see here if I can just go ahead and actually share my screen with you guys here. Let's share this screen right here. So now we're going to bring this guy in. Wow, pretty nice. Awesome. So as you guys know, the market is generally based on the confidence of the consumer, right? Is, fear, what's going on? Is everything going to be okay? Generally, when they need to ignite the market for money to be able to move, rates themselves find themselves in a good position. Now, being that some things have changed in the last several months, we've had changes when it came to the political scene. We've had also changes when it comes to the fear that's going on pertaining to COVID. Things have just been adjusting. In the last 4 weeks, I think we've probably seen the biggest reaction from the market when it comes to the world of rates. The mortgage-backed securities are where rates live, or where the mortgage bonds live. And they've been reacting in the last, I would say, 10 days. All of my preferred partners have been receiving the text messages and the videos that I have put out. They have definitely been affected by the talk of stimulus, just by the idea of what is going on when it comes to inflation. All of these other variables that are out there. And in a world where 2.5 was becoming common when it came to rates, those clients are now seeing themselves at maybe even the threes. You know what I mean? And while the threes are phenomenal, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing situation. People still have the idea that at 2.5, depending on the product, I mean, we could have blocked the 2.5 today, but depending on the product, is no longer available. Okay. So if you guys are tuning in now, or you're going to see this later, do me a favor and just drop a comment, share the video, go ahead and ask a question. I'm going to be available to answer any questions live today. We're only going to hang out maybe 10 or 15 minutes while we cover a couple of things. Okay. Basing on what we see here, if you guys look from February 16th, literally, it's been a slaughter. The greens have been small buys that have came back, but we see the market completely drop. When it comes to the mortgage-backed securities, we have the 10-year, literally, again, showing us that we're pushing strong to get back to where we were at one point. But the idea and insecurity of the concept of inflation is definitely affecting where we're going to be at by the end of the year. So for you guys that are pre-qualified out there, whether it's with our team or with anybody else. You want to make sure that you're having a conversation with your lender, which there are great lenders out there, and you're having a conversation about, hey, do I still qualify for that same price home, right? If you had a qualification, let's say from December, and the numbers done on your pre-qual were based on, let's say, a 2.5, then you want to go ahead and make sure that they're pre-qualifying you based on the new realistic number that you have. For those realtor partners that we have out there, again, I've always, like I say, they receive these videos constantly because I like to keep them updated what we see in the market. For those of you that have clients with other lenders and things like that, make sure that you're communicating with them, because that client that you're showing homes at 300,000 may no longer qualify for a home at 300,000. They may now qualify for a home at 285. The challenge that we see in a market with low inventory is that if you are falling when it comes to buying power, there isn't as much inventory on the lower side of the buying power. And that's maybe because you're entering into an investor market, right? Depending on the part of the state that you're in. Let's say if you're located in the Tampa market. While Tampa market aren't necessarily Miami-Dade numbers, right? Hillsborough County versus Miami-Dade. The idea is that investors are still playing in the Tampa market with homes that come about at $100 and something thousand. If you're someone that was pre-qualified for 220,000 and you now qualify for 190, are you now also having to compete with cash offers that investors are presenting in that market, because there is no inventory and because there is that many more people that have the type of liquidity to play in that realm, right? So those are things that you want to make sure that you're getting clear. For those of you watching, do me a quick solid. As you see, I'm hanging out today alone, so I want to make sure that you're here with me. Do me a favor, just drop a comment, say, hey, Freddie, or where you're located at, or anything that you want to go ahead and drop. If you have a question, I'll be answering them live today, so that I can go ahead and know that you're out there hanging out with me, okay? So going back to the idea of where your pre-qualification is at, make sure that if you got that pre-qualification in December, early January, that you're communicating with your preferred lender, so that you now know exactly where you are in the market and where you should be actually looking to buy. There's no reason for you to go out this weekend to look at a $300,000 home if that is no longer something that can fit. If what can fit is now a $275,000 home, you need to have that conversation with your real estate partners. All right. Now, I want to go over one particular situation that's happening with just one of the files that we're working on, but I think this may be able to affect those of you that are out there looking at the market. If you find yourself in a situation that you are employed and you are looking at a primary home, make sure that your lender can verify that you'll be able to own that home as a primary home while still be able to keep your job the way that it is structured. And the reason I bring this up is when we as lenders ask, hey, when it comes to your work, can you work remotely? And buying this property in a different state, for example, or X amount far away, can it be justifiable and for you to be able to actually live from your new home? It's important for you to know in the beginning of the process that that is going to be a sure thing, right? Even if you think, yeah, that's not an issue, make sure that you go through asking those questions, because sometimes there can be surprises coming back from the employer that they might not necessarily agree, even though you were under the perception that because of COVID, things were to be okay. Now, a lot of more companies have been able to pivot because their employees can't necessarily come to the office for health reasons and for just exposure reasons. It's very important that that is communicated, okay? And that you have some clarity on that, all right? So again, for those of you watching, just a quick comment would be awesome. Regardless, I'm not gonna be on here long today. As you see, my guest had got really busy at last moment. They wanted to reschedule, so I told them we'll hang out probably next Thursday, and we'll send out the notification when things can actually work out. But any questions or concerns having to do with the market, the process, the idea of buying a home, I'm gonna probably hang out a little bit longer to be able to go ahead and get those questions. But we have covered the fact that rates are up, and they're up, and I don't see them going back to where they were unless there's something dramatic were to happen. We've also covered making sure that if you are buying a primary home, that you're going to go ahead and relocate that you would justify, that you can justify the actual move with your employer. And to finish off that topic pretty well, if you cannot buy the property as a primary residence, the only other options are going to be being able to do it as a secondary home or as an investment property. Okay, investment properties and investment properties have different terms. Okay, cool beans. So last point that I want to go ahead and make is actually something that I wanted to announce at the end of the show today, which I'm super excited about. The Freddie Bias team has been putting together some things that are going to be pretty exciting, and we're going to be sharing with you guys via social media, via Instagram. It's going to be some things that we're going to be doing also on different channels. Okay, so do us a quick favor. Make sure that you are following us at our Instagram Instagram handle, and I'm going to put it down here. And we're going to share this one here at the bottom so that you have it. Here, it's the Freddie Bias team on Instagram. And it's going to be pretty funny stuff. It's going to be things that you guys are going to be able to follow along in our daily. We're going to do maybe even some pranks and stuff. We're going to have some fun. At the end of the day, our office it's all about us being able to hang out, help everyone with accomplishing home ownership, but overall really enjoying what we do every single day. So make sure that you go ahead and follow us. Any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out, guys. Make sure to comment on this video later on, again, even though it's going to be replaying. Any questions that you ask below, I'm going to go ahead and answer, or I'll reach out and provide you the answer. All right. So thank you for hanging out today. I would have wished that we could have had the full show. But again, last minute things happen to all business people. So we'll most likely catch up on that next Thursday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you